Imagine opening a metal can that hisses as you pull back the lid. Suddenly, a wave of smell so strong and so shocking fills the air that most people gag instantly. Tourists cover their noses, step back in horror, and wonder, why on earth would anyone eat this? Yet, in parts of Scandinavia, this isn't just food. It's a proud tradition, a cultural identity, and surprisingly, a hidden key to better health. This is fermented fish, known in Sweden as surströmming, in Norway as rakefisk, and in Iceland as hakarl. To outsiders, it looks like rotten seafood gone terribly wrong. But to locals, it is a delicacy with centuries of history, a survival method passed down through harsh winters when fresh food was scarce. Now, here's the shocking twist: scientists are discovering that what seems like the world's smelliest food might actually be a powerful ally for your gut. While the taste may challenge your senses, the biological magic inside could reshape your health from the inside out. In this video, we'll journey into the frosty lands of Scandinavia, uncover the cultural story of fermented fish, and reveal the science behind fermentation and gut health. We'll see how something that looks disgusting to many can actually feed the very microbes that protect our bodies, boost our mood, and even shield us from disease. So, before you dismiss it as a bizarre tradition, stay tuned. By the end, you might just find yourself curious enough to wonder, could eating fermented fish actually save your gut? Centuries ago, life in Scandinavia was defined by brutal winters, endless nights, and scarce resources. Long before modern refrigeration, people had to find creative ways to preserve their food. For fishing communities scattered along icy coastlines, survival depended on one solution: fermentation. Take Sweden's surströmming, for example. This dish begins with Baltic herring, caught during spring when the fish are fattest. Instead of eating them fresh, families would salt and barrel them, letting natural bacteria slowly ferment the fish over months. The result? A pungent delicacy so powerful that it became infamous worldwide. But to Swedes, this wasn't just strange-smelling fish, it was life-saving nutrition during harsh seasons when little else was available. In Norway, the story takes a similar turn with rakefisk. Trout is salted, placed in wooden barrels, and left to ferment in cellars for months. Families would gather in the cold of winter, opening these barrels together, sharing stories, laughter, and this bold dish. It wasn't just food, it was a ritual that brought people together and kept traditions alive. Iceland's hakarl may be the most extreme version of all. To prepare it, Greenland shark, poisonous if eaten fresh, is buried underground, left to ferment for weeks, and then hung to dry. What emerges is a dish that outsiders often call inedible, yet for Icelanders, it represents resilience, a connection to ancestors, and a reminder of the toughness required to thrive on an isolated island. For outsiders, these foods might seem bizarre, even repulsive. But within Scandinavia, they symbolize heritage. Every bite tells a story of adaptation, endurance, and resourcefulness. Eating fermented fish was not a matter of taste, it was survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Over time, these practices became woven into culture, celebrated in festivals, and even defended as national treasures. Today, while modern refrigeration has eliminated the need for fermentation, these traditions persist. They are not only kept alive for cultural pride but also rediscovered for their surprising health benefits. What once began as survival food has now become a fascinating bridge between history, science, and wellness. At first glance, fermented fish might look like a survival relic from the past. But when you look closer, it reveals one of the most fascinating intersections between culture and science: the relationship between fermentation and the human gut. Fermentation is, at its core, a natural preservation technique. Instead of spoiling, fish undergoes a transformation, thanks to the action of beneficial bacteria. These microbes break down sugars and proteins, producing lactic acid and other compounds that stop harmful bacteria from growing. The result is food that lasts longer, and gains unexpected health properties. So, what does this mean for your body? The answer lies in something scientists now call the gut microbiome. Inside your digestive system lives a vast universe of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and microorganisms. Far from being harmful, most of these microbes play essential roles. They help digest food, extract nutrients, and even produce vitamins. But perhaps their most surprising role is how they influence nearly every aspect of your health. Studies have shown that fermented foods act like a booster for this internal ecosystem. By eating foods rich in probiotics, the live, beneficial bacteria created during fermentation, you're essentially feeding your gut with reinforcements. These bacteria help restore balance when harmful microbes take over, strengthen your immune system, and keep inflammation under control. Even more fascinating is the discovery of the gut-brain axis, a communication highway between your digestive system and your brain. It turns out the health of your gut directly affects your mood, your stress levels, and even your risk of depression. Researchers found that people who regularly consume fermented foods, whether it's kimchi in Korea, yogurt in the Middle East, or fermented fish in Scandinavia, tend to have more diverse microbiomes. This diversity is linked to lower anxiety, sharper thinking, and more stable emotions. But it doesn't stop there. Fermentation also creates short-chain fatty acids, compounds that nourish the cells lining your intestines. These compounds reduce the risk of leaky gut syndrome, improve nutrient absorption, and help regulate blood sugar. In simpler terms, fermented foods can make your digestion smoother, your body stronger, and your mind calmer. What's striking is that while modern medicine often focuses on pills and prescriptions, traditional foods like fermented fish were offering health benefits long before science could explain them. A jar of fermented herring in Sweden wasn't just about surviving the winter, it was also about unintentionally protecting the gut, boosting resilience, and promoting long-term health. And while the smell might be off-putting, it's a sign of powerful microbial activity. That strong, sour, almost ammonia-like odor indicates the presence of compounds created during fermentation, compounds that, while unpleasant to the nose, may be gold for your gut. It's a paradox. What seems disgusting might actually be the very thing your body craves to stay balanced. Today, as scientists dive deeper into microbiome research, fermented foods are making a comeback in health circles. What once was dismissed as an odd cultural practice is now recognized as a cornerstone of preventive health. From the Arctic Circle to modern laboratories, fermented fish stands as proof that ancient traditions often hold wisdom modern science is only beginning to confirm. Let's step into the shoes of someone experiencing fermented fish for the very first time. Imagine a traveler arriving in northern Sweden, curious but unprepared. At a local gathering, a family proudly presents a can of surströmming. The lid is popped, and instantly the air fills with a sour, pungent smell so strong it almost knocks him back. His first instinct is to run away. The locals laugh kindly, they've seen this reaction countless times before. To them, this is normal, even joyful. To him, it feels like a test of courage. With hesitation, he takes a small bite. The texture is soft, the taste salty and acidic, almost overwhelming. For a moment, he wonders if he made a mistake. But he reminds himself, this isn't just about flavor, it's about stepping into a tradition that has fed generations. Over the next 2 weeks, something surprising happens. His digestion feels lighter, the usual bloating after meals starts to fade, and he notices a strange sense of balance. Nights become more restful, mornings feel fresher, and even his mood seems steadier. At first, he wonders if it's all in his head. But the science supports it. The probiotics from fermented fish are actively reshaping his gut microbiome. By the end of his stay, he no longer sees surströmming as rotten fish. Instead, he sees it as a gateway into a culture, and a tool for health. What started as a challenge turned into transformation. This simple story echoes a bigger truth. Sometimes the foods that look the scariest are the ones that give our bodies exactly what they need. Fermented fish may sound extreme, but when you step back, it's clear that fermentation is a universal human language. Across the world, cultures separated by thousands of miles discovered the same secret, harnessing microbes to create food that nourishes and heals. In Korea, families prepare kimchi, a mix of cabbage, garlic, and chili left to ferment underground for weeks. What began as a preservation method during cold winters is now celebrated globally as a superfood rich in probiotics. In Japan, miso, fermented soybean paste, has been part of daily soups and meals for centuries. It doesn't just add flavor, it provides essential nutrients and strengthens gut health, a tradition now validated by modern science. Even in the Mediterranean, cucumbers, olives, and cabbage are turned into pickles. In the Middle East, fermented yogurt drinks like ayran have been staples for centuries, refreshing and beneficial during hot summers. When you connect these dots, a clear picture emerges. Whether it's fish buried in Scandinavian soil, vegetables sealed in Korean clay pots, or beans transformed in Japanese barrels, fermentation has always been humanity's way of protecting health and building resilience. Far from being bizarre, Scandinavia's fermented fish is simply one piece of a global puzzle, a reminder that ancient wisdom often points us toward modern wellness. What might surprise you most is just how powerful fermented foods can be for your body. Studies show that people who eat fermented fish or similar foods have a lower risk of heart disease, stronger immune defenses, and more stable blood sugar. The probiotics inside help calm inflammation, repair the gut lining, and even influence hormones linked to stress. Scientists now call the gut our second brain, and it's clear why. When the microbiome thrives, the mind and body follow. In other words, that smelly fish might secretly be a shield against modern disease. So, what seems like the world's smelliest dish is far more than a shocking tradition. Fermented fish carries centuries of history, survival, and science, reminding us that sometimes the strangest foods hold the greatest healing power. What once kept Scandinavians alive through brutal winters may now offer solutions to modern health challenges. The question is, would you dare to try it? Share your thoughts in the comments, I want to hear your honest reaction. And if you love uncovering food secrets that connect culture and health, make sure to subscribe for more eye-opening stories.